Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble pranams at Bhagwan's divine lotus feet. Esteemed elders, dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome you all to the first day of the Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha, which was started by Bhagwan more than 5 decades back with the purpose, in Bhagwan's own word, to foster positive attitude in spiritual effort of a seeker. Now, if one introspects why positive attitude is so important for a seeker, if someone says that you go and take a walk, I don't need to have a positive attitude to take just a simple walk, but if I have to take a walk, or if you have to choose a spiritual path, then I have to look into the various dimensions of my personality, because each of us have got a divine aspect, have got a human aspect, have got an animal tendency, and sometimes even the best of the seekers are shocked by the demonic nature which suddenly comes out. So we are always in a flux between, most of us are in a flux between the human nature and the animal nature. Sometimes we get a glimpse of the divine, and sometimes even we are shocked by some demonic thoughts, probably. So that uncertainty that we have in our own personality makes us very difficult to have a continuous positive attitude. And that is why satsang is very, very, very important. Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha is one such opportunity where we are given this opportunity to connect with the divine, to listen to the Leelas of Bhagwan. One of the devotees asked Bhagwan, it is quite paradoxical that the same mind which enjoys the bhajans, which loves listening to your discourse, also enjoys the sensory pleasures. It is quite paradoxical. So I don't know what to make out of it. And Bhagwan very beautifully replied that, see, your mind is behaving like a housefly which goes and sits on the sweet, and also it goes and sits on a dustbin. You have to make a mind into a honeybee which will only choose a flower. And that conscious decision you have to take. Otherwise, you might be thinking that I've been a devotee for so many years, but I'm not able to understand the simple paradoxical nature of the mind. This morning, we also saw the commencement of the Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yagnam, which began with the lighting of the ceremonial fire. And all of us would have seen that 2 pieces of wood were rubbed with a particular intensity, with perseverance, and that is when the fire came out. And Swami describes a very beautiful inner significance to this. Swami explains, see, we all have a palm, and when we rub our palm, in no time, we can experience the heat. Heat is the fundamental principle of fire, which means fire is there in our palm. In the same way, the wood also has got the fire principle. And when the wood is rubbed with a particular intensity and with perseverance, the fire manifests itself outside. In the same manner, the all-pervasive divine principle is always there. One might say, if God is everywhere, what is the need of even experiencing Him? To such people, we can always say, the air is everywhere. Why do you need a fan in your house? You remove the fan. But most of us who are seeker, we are thirsty. We are looking for that experience with the divine. And that is why the auspicious period like Navaratri gives us a beautiful opportunity to intensify the sadhana so that we can experience divine in different ways. This evening, we have with us Sri Sai Sham Sharma, sharing with all of us the lessons that he was blessed to learn at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. Sri Sai Sham joined Sri Sati Sai Primary School, Prashantilayam, for his first standard in the year 1990, and went on to study up to the M.Tech in Computer Science at Sri Sati Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashantilayam campus, graduating in the year 2009. In the same year, he joined for teaching and has been serving as the assistant professor at Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, Sri Sathya Institute of Higher Learning. He is also the recipient of the All-Rounder Gold Medal from Bhagwan in the year 2008. He has been actively involved with the Institute Brass Band from 2002 in various capacities and has been an active member of the cultural coordination team of the university. Apart from teaching, he is also pursuing his research in the area of digital media forensics. This evening, he'll be speaking to us on the topic Daiva Priti, Papa Bhiti, love for God, fear of sin. Please welcome Shri Sai Sham Sharma. Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my humble salutations at the lotus feet of my beloved Mother Sai. Learned scholars, esteemed elders, and my dear brothers and sisters, who are all members of this Prashanta Vidwan Mahasabha, a loving saram to one and all. Life in Prashanti Nilayam is all about festivals. It begins with Makara Sankranti in January and goes on till Christmas in December. Among all these festivals, there are two festivals that are very special to us. I would even say they are very unique. This is because these two festivals actually make us understand about the divine aspect of our loving Lord, who's come down in the form of Shiva Shakti. The overnight vigil that is kept on the Shivaratri night, as Swami says, one should spend that entire night chanting the name of Lord Shiva and understand the principle of Shivam that is there within each one of us and everything around us. It is that night that one should spend to contemplate and connect with the divinity within us. I remember as a child, when Swami would walk around during Shivaratri, Swami would tell, don't take Padnamaskar, don't touch me. Because that particular day, the energy in his physical frame would be immense. The energy that would be created within his body for the Lingodbhavam that he would perform. Shivaratri has its own significance. The Shakti aspect of our Lord is this festival of Dashara that we all are a part of. Dashara celebrations in Parthi are complemented, if I would say, with the Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yajna. This Yajnam is for the Loka Kalyanam. Actually, this year, in this week-long Mahasabha that we are going to have, there is going to be a portion every day which will talk about the divine celebrations at Puttaparthi, a saga. Every day we will be told about some aspects of this Dashara celebrations, right from the time it began. I will not talk too much about the Dashara celebrations, but I will make a mention of a very unique and powerful incident that happened in the Dashara of 1988, exactly 30 years back, when our dearest Bhagwan decided to show to everyone that life, death, and this whole cycle of birth and rebirth are just in his hands. When he revived Brigadier S.K. Bose, who had actually got a massive heart attack and collapsed in the Purnachandra auditorium. That story is for some time later. Maybe it will come in this saga that we will hear over the 1 week. So I will leave that for now. Today, possibly, I can stand here and talk about the significance of these festivals and see the positive side or talk about the understanding of it. But if I look back in my childhood, say 25 years back, all through we have got this picture of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva, for example, everyone talks about he is the destroyer of the world. If he opens his third eye, everything will burn. We always get this scary picture of the Lord. We always get to hear that he is the most powerful Lord. If you do anything wrong, he is going to punish you. Of the mother goddess, you see that she is riding a lion, a tiger, and that's the image which is created for all of us when we are children. I remember the first time when I learned the Mahishasura Mardini, the line that keeps ringing in my ear again and again is Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini. That's the line that I remember most easily. So the image that we get, I don't know how many of you have been like this in childhood, but I was one such, where there would be always this fear of this form of the Lord, this form of God. I used to wonder, where is Daiva Preeti in this? There is more of Daiva Bhiti in this. Right? I was always told God will punish if you do wrong. Nobody told me God will reward if you do good. That was told very rarely to us. But then this aspect that God can be loved and He loves back is what this Shiva Shakti Swarupa, who walked amidst us in flesh and blood, taught me. I remember, just like most of you seated here, it was this time of winter vacation that we will have soon. So it was one such winter vacation back in school. I went home, and it's a very normal thing that happens if your siblings at home. You will fight for the remote to watch what you want on the television, right? We also had that spat. There were 3 of us in the same house, my brother, my sister, and me. We had the same spat. I wanted to watch something, somebody else wanted to watch what they wanted. In all this fight that was being created, there was this uncle of mine in my house. So he came and he started shouting at me. He started telling, you're the youngest one, you always think that whatever you want should happen. So you take away the remote and give it to your brother and sister. Let them watch what they want. Now at that time, the child ego within me rose. Right? I started to feel like I became the rebel child. I started to feel that I'm being repressed for no reason actually. But then that's how we are as children. So I reacted to this in a very emotional manner. I said, okay, fine. You keep the remote, keep the house to yourself. I'm going. And I walked out of the house. I had no clue where I'm walking. I kept walking. And I walked. It was still sometime in the evening, so it wasn't that dangerous actually. But as the night began, I started to think maybe I can actually cool down. It's not that serious. I can walk back. But then no, the ego doesn't allow you to do that. You have to make a point. Right? So I sat down on a stone or a rock that was there by the roadside, and I said, I will not go. It got a little more dark. I got a little more worried. And then after some time, I find my uncle, my brother and sister coming towards me. And then my uncle comes and breaks down in tears. He says, I am sorry. I shouldn't have shouted at you. It was such a small thing. I think they were hoping that I will come back. I was hoping that they will come. Eventually, somebody had to give in. So I think the more sensible people gave in, and they walked. So then they took me back home, and I went back. Days went by. Vacation got over. We were back to Parthi, and now comes the actual time in my life. Swami is walking by. He doesn't look at me. He walks. 1 day over, 1 week over, 2 weeks over. Swami is not looking, not talking. And then I realized there is something that's gone wrong. So I decide I will write a letter. And at that point, when I want to write the letter, I realized that maybe this is what I did, which was not right. I should have behaved much better with my elders at home, and this is not something I should have done. So I write that letter and fold it, come to Mandir and I'm waiting. Swami is walking around darshan. Now that day when I come with the letter, Swami looks at me. That's the first tick mark. Swami walks closer to me. I feel, yes, it's all good. Swami asks me for the letter. I get up, I give the letter. But then he does something that I don't expect. He opens the letter there. I'm like, no, I don't know what is. And at that time, my heart begins to beat really fast. I can almost feel it coming out of my shirt. It's like that moment. And that fear of now Swami, and possibly this is that moment where Swami will open his third eye and I will burn. You know, that is the kind of moment that I am feeling. So I am very scared. Swami reads the entire letter. He folds it back. And I think it's all good. Then he begins to tear the letter. He tears it. 1, 2, 3. He makes it into bits of pieces. And then he puts it in my pocket. I am actually more scared right now because he tore the letter. And it was, I have not really seen Swami do it like that, something in public. So I was very scared. Then he pats me on my back. And those words that he said then, he says, I am not Durvasa. He says, I am not somebody to get angry with you for something like this. And at that moment I realized that yes, all said and done, there is this loving aspect of Swami. All the mothers actually just know how to act angry. They only know how to possibly behave in a strict manner with the child so that you learn what mistake you do. But once you understand what you have done wrong, the mother comes out of that acting zone of anger and comes back to love the child like always. It was at this moment I realized that God is not somebody who's there to punish you. He is there to love you. He is there to, possibly this was the opportunity for me to understand this when He was in flesh and blood. And what better opportunity can one ask for? I also heard a story where once a devotee asked Swami, that Swami, how many sins of ours will you forgive? You know, how many sins are we allowed to make? And to this Swami replied, you can make as many as you want, provided you repent with sincerity. Now this answer of Swami is again that aspect of the Lord where the Bholenath that He is, as much as when He walked into the kingdom of Daksh after Mother Sati decided to burn herself, as much as Prajapati Daksha's head was chopped away, in all that fury of the Lord, He still decides to bring back Prajapati Daksh to life. That is the benevolent and Bholenath that we are having with us all the time. That his punishment is for the act that you do. It was then that I realized that Mahishasura Mardani did not kill the Asura by himself, but actually vanquished the evil qualities that it represented. And that's how God is. So that's how we begin to love God. Now the question may arise that do we always need a form? Do we need something in physical to love God? At this point, I'm again reminded of a story. It was during sports meet, and like many of us have experienced, sometimes the January 11th morning can actually have very bright sun, and it can really get hot. So the whole Hillview Stadium, the people who had come to watch the entire sports meet were sitting in open, and it was very hot. So Swami sitting on the stage notices this and calls his senior devotee and tells, please distribute water and something to drink to all the devotees around and everyone. So immediately water with some juice is sent to everyone who's seated in the ground. And just next to Swami, there is the Vice Chancellor of the university who is seated. He observes that everybody is drinking something or the other during this heat, but Swami is not taking a sip of water. So he's trying to if Swami is seated here, he is just seated next to Swami. How difficult would it have been for somebody to get the physical attention of Swami at this distance? So the Vice Chancellor is trying his best to get Swami's attention, but Swami, when he decides to not look, you can be in front of him, you are as transparent as a glass. So he's just not able to get Swami's attention. And then the Vice Chancellor realizes that, okay, maybe this is a moment where I need to pray to him rather than trying to get his physical attention. So he prays to Swami, that Swami, I am feeling very bad and sad from within that everyone is drinking something on such a hot morning, but you are not even taking a drop of water. As he prays this and looks up, he sees that the entire crowd which is there in the Hillview Stadium is actually Swami. He sees everyone seated there as Swami. Now this particular incident depicts that the easiest way to love Swami or love God is to love your fellow men. It's not that you need God to be in another physical form to love Him, but you need to love Him through your fellow men around you. The next thing, I remember once when I was in the college, there was a friend of mine, we were seated in Mandir, and somebody asked him a question. He asked him, do you think you love Swami? And then this friend of mine gave a very interesting reply. He said, see, I don't know if I love Swami, but I am sure about one thing, that Swami loves me. And that is what is this love for God. Even whether you don't know whether you love Him or you may not love Him, but His love for you is always there. That's the easiest part of loving God. Now the thing is, love is such a kind of a feeling that each time you love someone, you expect that to get reciprocated to you. So at this point, I am reminded of one more interesting story that when I was in school, a senior of mine told me. So there is a shepherd boy who one day is taking his sheep for grazing, and it happens to be near a church. So as he is grazing, as the sheep is grazing there, he hears the church bell ring. And he wonders that, everyone is going to go for prayer now, but I don't know how to pray. What would I do? And I can't leave the cattle here and go. So what should I do? He bends down on his knee and he begins to just chant the alphabet of his native language. He chants it once, he chants it twice, he keeps chanting the alphabet again and again. So at this point of time, a senior man is crossing and is about to enter the church. So he hears this boy going on chanting the alphabet. So he goes, looks around from where this noise is coming, and he sees that behind the bush there is a boy who's doing this. He observes him for some time. He realizes this boy has finished the entire alphabet nearly 3 times. So he stops him, interrupts him and asks, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So the young shepherd says, see, I do not know how to pray. I have not learned any prayer. But I know that if I chant this whole alphabet as many times as I can, I will then tell God, God, you know what I want. You know what I want to pray for, but I do not know a prayer. Why don't you arrange the alphabets, the letters in the right form and take my prayer? Now this story reminds us that, for him, it is not about whether you think how do you pray to him, or prayer is the way to love him. His love for us is always there. We just need to find different ways to love him. And there is no golden way to love God. Once a reporter wrote something about Mother Teresa. The reporter wrote that, God is very unfair because He gives good health to Mother Teresa and He gives suffering to all those that she is serving. Now, just wonder, even if you do good, you're helping the needy, There are people who say that no, God is unfair because you are good and they are not good. Right? How much more of Kali Yuga can come? So to this, Mother Teresa gave a very interesting reply, and I would like to quote her. So these are the words of Mother Teresa. I quote, "Those suffering are given the great gift of sharing in the world's redemption with Jesus on the cross. I am not worthy to suffer as they, but I am worthy to walk with them. And if I am given health, it is so that I might spend my health on caring for the sick. It would only be unfair if I spent my health on myself. But God gives nothing unfairly, only we are unfair." Unquote. That's the situation of today. The world is in need of love, kindness, sympathy, empathy, call it anything. The world today is in desperate need of this. I will again, at this juncture, talk about a symbolic story that happened with me. I was very young, and just like a kid, like any one of us, I would be scared of the dark. It goes dark, I can howl. I would howl and, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. That's our instant reaction, right? So if power went, I would go mad. I'm sure many of you are the same, or were the same. So my father began to fear this thing in me. So one darshan, when Swami was walking around, he happened to tell Swami, "Swami, my son is actually very scared of the dark. He panics a lot. I am scared of that." So then Swami, as he finished his round from here, I was seated where the primary school children sit. He walks up to me and then asks, "Your father says that you are scared of the dark. Are you?" Now I am actually a little bit embarrassed. I don't want to tell Swami I am scared, because that will, and the question came as, "Are you?" Right? So again, the child ego. But then nevertheless, I was like, "Yes, Swami, I am scared." Then he waves his hand, and there was this big sugar candy. So he put that sugar candy in my mouth and said, "Eat this. From now on, you will not get scared." So even today when I get scared, I just remind myself, "Don't worry, you have eaten the sugar candy." But yes, now when I say this story is very symbolic, it is symbolic to that aspect that today the world around is having this darkness of hatred. It's engulfing each one of us. If there is anything sweet that can go around and make this world a better place to live, it is this feeling of love of God. It is this feeling of love for your fellow men and help and sympathy for them. Just like how the Mother Goddess vanquishes all evil with her divine powers, we need to be able to vanquish or overcome these evil tendencies of ours with nothing but the sweetness of the love of our Lord. Dear Swami, on behalf of all of us seated here and many others not around, I pray that you fill us with so much sweetness of your love that we are able to overcome this fear of darkness and hatred that is today a situation which the world is in. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Shyam, for sharing with all of us your wonderful experiences with Bhagwan. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Samsita Namastasyai Namastasyai Namastasye Namo Namaha. When the divinity takes the universal mother's form, the form which is ever loving, one might wonder, in spite of doing so much of sadhana or even prayers to Bhagwan, to Mother, why is she not responding immediately? Today we are living in the world of instant gratification. We pray and we want things to happen immediately. That's where Swami gives a very beautiful analogy, which is very important for us to understand. Swami says the negative qualities are like curd. Our mind is like a pot, the negative quality is like a curd. Through sadhana, through self-effort, we should try our best to get rid of this curd. Because the Divine Mother is waiting with a pot of milk, nectarine milk, to pour into that pot. But when she wants to pour the nectarine milk, she's seeing that there is a trace of curd in the pot of our mind. And she knows even if she pours liters and liters of milk, in no time it will become curd. And hence, though we might think why the answers are not being answered, why there is a delay, is because we are yet, what we say patrata, we are yet to come into the stage of receiving. Or the other example which Swami gives is there might be holes in the pot, and even if she pours the milk will leak out of the pot. During this Dashara celebration, we are witness to several ceremonies in the Purnachandra auditorium. We also witnessed the auspicious Kalasha Sthapanam. One of the significant interpretations of Kalasham is that Kalasha symbolizes earth. The water inside the Kalasham stands for the primordial water. And we all know that the creation began in water. The mango leaves and the coconut is a symbol of creation. And when we are doing Archanam to the Kalasham, it only signifies that we are offering our gratitude to the creation and the Creator. Similarly, when we are offering Kumkum, Bhagwan very beautifully explains that Kumkum has the color of our blood. The blood signifies life. So when we are doing Kumkumarchanam, it actually means that we are dedicating our life to the divine. One of the things which I got reminded when Brother Shyam was narrating about the compassionate nature of God, it comes in Durga Saptashati. After Mother has vanquished Mahishasura, as usual, all the Devatas come with folded arms, full of gratitude, and each one is praising Mother. One god is saying, Mother, it is really very surprising that seeing your beautiful form, how is it that the Asuras even lifted the weapon to attack you? The other Devata says that even more surprising is when she took the fierce form of Bhadrakali, they should have run away that instant. How were they able to stand Mother? The very sight should have led to the death of those Rakshasas. Then the third Devata says, no, it is not like that. Mother wanted to give them liberation by killing them with her weapon. So even in that Raudra form, there is compassion. So if we see with the perspective, with the right perspective, there cannot be anger in divinity. It is only love. And what we might see as anger, we can say that it is tough love. It's a form of love which is difficult to take, but it is for our own good. We now pray to Bhagwan to bless all of us with the divine message for Navaratri. After the divine discourse, the students of Sri Satya Institute of Higher Learning, Muddenalli campus will be offering a music program at Bhagwan's Divine Lotus Feet. Sai Ram.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, ఎంబాడిమెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ డివైన్ లవ్. ఈనాడు మానవత్వం అనేటువంటి దాన్ని మర్చిపోతూ వచ్చారు. టుడే మ్యాన్ ఈస్ ఫర్గెటింగ్ హిస్ హ్యూమన్ నేచర్. మానవ ఆకారం మాత్రమే నిలిచింది, కానీ మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది మరుగుపడిపోయింది. హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ఫార్మ్, బట్ ది రియల్ మానవత్వం లేని మానవుడి వల్ల లోకానికి కలిగేటువంటి ఉపయోగం ఏమిటి? What good can accrue to the world from such people who are men? కనుకనే వేదమంతైకుడును, that is the reason why ఆకార మానవుని వల్ల లోకానికి ఉపయోగం ఏమీ లేదు. ఆచార ప్రచార మానవులు కావాలి, విచార మానవులు కావాలని ఆశిస్తూ వచ్చింది. Veda has always aspired to have human beings who can practice humanity, not human beings who are only in form. ఈనాడు అనేక మంది వేద మంత్రమును అధ్యయనం చేస్తున్నారు. Today quite a number of people వల్ల వేస్తున్నారు or chanting Vedas. కానీ అర్థములు తెలిసి వేయటం చాలా కష్టంగా ఉంటుండాలి. But they are not able to understand and then chant. అర్థములు తెలిసి వేదాన్ని ఉచ్చరించడం చేత మరింత పరిపూర్ణమైన ఆనందాన్ని అనుభవించవచ్చు. One can enjoy bliss in fullness only when one chants Veda, understanding the full meaning of it. తిరుబండారముల యొక్క పేర్లు మాత్రమే ఉచ్చరించినంత మాత్రమున మనకు దాని యొక్క రుచులు కానీ, దాని యొక్క ఆనందము కానీ, దాని యొక్క పుష్టి కానీ, సంతుష్టి కానీ మనకు ఏర్పడదు. By repeating the names of delicious and nutritious food, we are not going to get either their taste nor the జిలేబీ, ఒక రసగుల్లా, ఒక మిఠాయి అని మనం ఉచ్చరిస్తాము. We utter say జిలేబీ, రసగుల్లా, లేక ఈ పదార్థముల యొక్క పేర్లను మనం పుస్తకంలో చదువుతాము. Or we read the names of these sweets in a book. చదివినంత మాత్రమున, ఉచ్చరించినంత మాత్రమున దాని మాధుర్యం మనకి ఏమాత్రమూ అనుభూతికి రాదు. By merely reading it and pronouncing these names, we are not going to get this sweet taste of it. భుజించినప్పుడు కలిగేటువంటి యొక్క మధురానందం అనేటువంటిది మనకు ఈ యొక్క పఠనం యందు కానీ, చింతన యందు కానీ మనకు లభ్యం కాదు. The sweet taste which we can enjoy when we practice them by merely reading and pronouncing and chanting a Veda, ఈనాడు మంత్రములు ఉచ్చరించినంత మాత్రమున, వల్లించినంత మాత్రమున దాని పరిపూర్ణమైనటువంటి యొక్క దివ్యత్వం మనకు అర్థం కాదు. We cannot understand the full divinity that Veda is by merely chanting. దాని అంతరార్థాన్ని కూడా నువ్వు చక్కగా గుర్తించి వర్తించినప్పుడే ఈ యొక్క పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క స్వరూపం మనకు సాక్షాత్కరిస్తుంది. We will be able to get a full vision of the divinity of the Vedic mantras only when we practice it and then chant them. వేదము కేవలము విశాలమైనటువంటి భావముతో, Veda is full of broad వివేకమైనటువంటి తలంపుతో, is full of noble thoughts, విజ్ఞానమైనటువంటి యొక్క భావముతో, feelings based upon wisdom. విశ్వవ్యాప్తి అయినటువంటిదే కానీ సంకుచితంగా నిలిచిపోయినటువంటిది కాదు. Veda has become all pervasive, filling the entire world only with these great noble thoughts. ప్రతి విషయమునందు కూడా నువ్వు సమత్వాన్ని ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చింది. Veda has taught equal mindedness in every aspect of human life. ఏకత్వాన్ని అభివృద్ధి గావించుకుంటూ వచ్చింది. It has developed unity in everything. కష్ట సుఖముల యందు కూడాను సమత్వాన్ని కూడాను పంచుతూ వచ్చింది. It has made people to practice equality. ఈనాటి మానవులు ఆ మంత్రములు ఉచ్చరిస్తూ కూడాను అందులో ఇమిడి ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యొక్క సారాంశాన్ని గుర్తించుకోలేకపోతున్నారు. But today people are mechanically chanting Vedas without realizing or understanding ఒక్క మంత్రాన్ని చక్కగా మనం అర్థం చేసుకుంటే కూడా చాలు. Even if we can understand one hymn, one mantra, శాంతి మంత్రములో సహనా భవతు సహనౌ భునక్తు సహ వీర్యం కరవావహి తేజస్వినావతు అని ఈ మంత్రాన్ని నిత్యము పఠిస్తూనే ఉంటుంటారు. For example, this శాంతి mantra సహనా భవతు is chanted every day. ఏమిటి ఈ మంత్రం యొక్క అర్థము? What is the real meaning of it? సహనా భవతు సహనౌ భునక్తు అంటే ఏమి? కలసి మెలసి తిరుగుదాం, కలసి మెలసి మెలుగుదాం. Let us move together. Let us conduct ourselves with understanding. కలసి మెలసి కలిమి చెలిమి బలము గుణము పెంచుదాం. Let us together develop friendship కలిసి మెలిసి తెలుసుకున్న తెలివిని పోషించుదాం.
Let us develop our own understanding which we have just learned.
కలిసి మెలిసి కలత లేక చెలిమితో జీవించుదాం అని దీని యొక్క అర్థం.
The meaning is, let us live together happily with cooperation.
ఎంత విశాలమైన మంత్రము!
What great mantra it is, what noble ideas are incorporated.
ఇట్టి విశాలమైనటువంటి యొక్క మంత్రములన్నింటి కూడాను సంకుచితమైన మంత్రంగా అర్థములు కల్పించి తద్వారా భేదములను అభివృద్ధి గావించుకుంటూ వచ్చారు.
When such great, noble, broad meanings are there for these mantras, giving a narrow interpretation and getting...
ఆనాడు ఉండినటువంటి యొక్క సమత్వం కానీ ఏకత్వం ఈనాడు ఏ వెయ్యింటి ఒక భాగం కూడా కనిపించడం లేదు.
We cannot get even 1,000th of the equality and the unity which was seen in the ancient days.
కనుకనే అతి పరిపూర్ణమైనది కనుకనే పూర్ణమద పూర్ణమిదం పూర్ణాత్ పూర్ణముదచ్యతే అది పరిపూర్ణమైనటువంటి యొక్క తత్వము ఈ వేదం యొక్క అర్థము.
The meaning of Veda is associated with fullness. It is everything is full. That is what
ఈనాటి మానవుని యొక్క భావములు.
But today's man's feelings
కేవలము ఒక మానవ భావములు కూడాను లేకుండా మరింత దిగజారిపోవటం చేతనే ఈ భిన్నత్వం అభివృద్ధి అయిపోతూ వచ్చింది.
The quarrels and the misunderstanding has developed in humanity because they don't have the feelings of even human beings.
అర్థము తెలియకుండా పోయినప్పుడు ఊరుకు ఉంటే ఎంతో మేలు, కానీ అనర్థాలను పెంచి దాంట్లో నానార్థాలను అభివృద్ధి గావించుకుంటూ వచ్చారు.
It would be better if one does not speak out, one does not know the correct meaning.
అనర్థాలు పెరుగుతూ పోయాయి కానీ యథార్థాలు నిలిచిపోతున్నా వచ్చాయి.
In giving wrong interpretation, the correct interpretation is hidden and it is lost.
కనుక ఈ యజ్ఞయాగాది క్రతువుల యందు
In these yajnas and this sacrifice,
ఈ మంత్రముల యందు కూడాను ఋగ్వేదము లోపల అనేక దేవతలంతా వర్ణిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
in Rigveda, for example, various gods were described.
ఇందులో 33 దేవతలు ప్రధానమైనటువంటి వారిగా నిరూపిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
It has been said that 33 gods are very important ones.
ఇందులో సూర్యుడు ప్రధానుడు.
Among them, sun is a very important one.
ఈ దేవతలకందరికి కూడాను మానవుల వలె అనేక అంగములతో కూడి ఉండేటువంటి వారు.
All these gods also were having limbs in the same way as human beings have their own limbs.
ఈ యొక్క సూర్యతత్వం అనేటువంటిది జగత్ వ్యాప్తి గావించినటువంటిది.
This aspect of sun is
ఈ యజ్ఞం లోపల
very well known.
సూర్యునికి కూడాను ఒక ఋత్విక్ అనే ఒక పేరు.
One of the names given to
ఇతనికి
this god
హోత అని
sun
కూడా మరొక పేరు.
is Rutvik and Hoda.
ఇతనికి బ్రహ్మ అని కూడా మరొక పేరు.
Another name for sun is Brahma.
ఈ అద్భుతము గావించినటువంటివన్నీ కూడాను ఈ సూర్యుడు కేవలము అనేక మందికి దేవతలకంతా కూడాను అందించేటువంటిది తన యొక్క పని.
Whatever is offered in the sacrifice is carried to the gods for whom it is meant by this god sun.
ఈ యొక్క అగ్నిదేవతా స్వరూపమైనటువంటి సూర్య ప్రతిబింబమే.
What you call fire is only a reflection of
అగ్నికి కూడాను రూపం.
fire also has a particular form.
అగ్ని కూడాను తల్లి తండ్రి ఉంటున్నారు.
Even for this god fire, there is father and mother.
మీరు ప్రొద్దున చూచారు అరణ్య అని. కింద ఒక కర్ర పైన ఒక కర్ర పట్టి దానిని చిలకటం.
You have seen this morning that is called Arani. There is one piece of wood.
ఈ అగ్నిదేవుడు పుట్టిన తక్షణమే తల్లిదండ్రులు కూడాను భస్మం చేశాడట.
The moment this fire god took his birth, he swallowed and he destroyed his own
కింద
parents.
కర్రనే తల్లి పై కర్రనే తండ్రి.
The piece of wood down below is the mother. The piece of
ఈ
wood
ఇరువుల
on the
నుండి
top is
కూడాను
father.
అగ్నిదేవుడు ఉద్భవించాడు అని.
And this God fire took his birth to these two parents.
ఈ అగ్నికి రూపములు కూడా ఉంటున్నవి.
God fire has also form.
ఇతని యొక్క జ్వాలలన్నీ కూడాను కేవలం నాలుకల వంటివి అని.
The flames may be described as his tongue.
ఇతని యొక్క కిరణములు అన్నీ కూడాను శిరస్సుల వంటివి.
The rays coming from the fire may be described
కనుకనే
as the head.
సహస్రశీర్ష పురుష సహస్రాక్ష సహస్రపాద్ అని ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క మంత్రములతో దీన్ని వర్ణిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
That is why it has been praised that it has 1,000 heads and 1,000 feet, 1,000 hands and so on.
ప్రతి ఒక్కడి ఎందుకును ఈ అగ్నితత్వం ఇమిడి ఉంటుండాలి.
This principle of fire is found
ప్రతి జీవి కూడాను భగవత్ స్వరూపుడే అని దీని యొక్క అంతరార్థము.
in every human being, and therefore it means that everyone is essentially a divine being.
ఈ విధమైనటువంటి మంత్రములను ఉచ్చరించి భగవత్ అర్పితం గావించడం చేత ఇవన్నీ కూడాను భగవంతునికి చేరి తద్వారా శాంతి ప్రసన్నుని గావించడం చేతనే లోక కళ్యాణం ఏర్పడుతూ వచ్చింది.
When we chant these mantras, offering various things to the Lord himself, Lord blesses, and therefore peace and prosperity is
ఎట్టి
conferred on the
అగ్నియో
humanity.
ఎట్టి మంటనో అట్టి పొగ,
The type of smoke depends upon the type of fire.
ఎట్టి పొగనో అట్టి మేఘము,
The type of clouds depend upon the smoke.
ఎట్టి మేఘమో అట్టి వర్షము,
The rain depends upon the type of
ఎట్టి
cloud.
వర్షమో అట్టి పంట,
The crop depends upon the rain.
ఎట్టి పంటనో అట్టి వంట,
The type of preparation depends upon the
ఎట్టి
crop.
వంటనో అట్టి బుద్ధి.
The intelligence depends upon the type of food that you partake.
కనుకనే ఈనాడు మంత్ర స్వరూపమైనటువంటి పొగలు లేకపోవటం చేతనే మన బుద్ధులంతా కూడా భ్రష్టు పట్టిపోతున్నాయి.
Today the clouds are formed not by the smoke coming out of yagnas. Therefore our intelligence also
ఈ
is going in
మంత్రములతో
the
భగవత్
crooked way.
అర్పితం గావించినటువంటి పొగ మేఘములుగా మారిపోయి పవిత్రమైన మేఘముల నుంచి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి జలబిందువులు వచ్చి ఆ వర్షము చేతనే పవిత్రమైనటువంటి పంటలంతా పెరిగి పవిత్రమైన పంటల వల్లనే పవిత్రమైన వంటలంతా మనకు వచ్చి ఈ వంటల వల్లనే పవిత్రమైన గుణములు కూడా మనకు కలుగుతూ వస్తుంటాయి.
When sacrifice is performed, the smoke is sacred, which leads to sacred clouds, sacred rain, sacred crops, sacred food and sacred thinking.
ఈనాటి మానవులకు ఈ పాడు బుద్ధులు పీడ బుద్ధులు అభివృద్ధి కావడానికి మూల కారణము ఇట్టి పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యజ్ఞయాగాదులు క్షీణించటమే కారణం.
The crooked thoughts and crooked feelings arising in human mind is an account of not caring for performing sacrifices these days.
ఏదో ఈ విధంగా నేనంతా కూడా ఇక్కడ అర్పితం చేసి అనేక విధమైనటువంటి కష్టాలు ఖర్చులు పెట్టి ఇంత యజ్ఞం చేయడం వల్ల దీని వల్ల వచ్చే ఫలితం ఏమిటి అని అనేక మంది కొంతవరకు దూషిస్తారు, నిందిస్తారు, విమర్శిస్తారు.
Some people criticize and comment, is it not a waste when we pour tins of ghee in this sacrificial fire?
దీని యొక్క విషయం తెలిసిన వారికే అర్థమవుతుంది కానీ తెలియని వారికి ఏమాత్రం అర్థం కాదు.
Only people who really know, they can understand the significance of this.
ఒక
Others
రైతు
cannot.
ఒక మూటడు వడ్లంతా కూడాను నానవేసి మొలకలు ఎత్తించి ఆ వడ్లును ఒక మూట వడ్లను తీసుకొని పోయి బాగా బురదగా తాను దున్ని దిక్కు చేసినట్టు ఆ బురదలో పోయి చల్లుతాడు.
An agriculturist and a farmer takes one bag of paddy and takes them into a field in order to raise the crop and puts them into that marshy, muddy land.
ఈ సేద్యం సంగతి తెలియనటువంటి మూర్ఖుడు, వ్యవసాయ సంగతి తెలియనటువంటి యొక్క మూర్ఖుడు,
A fool who does not know how this cultivation takes place, how to raise crops on the
అధిక
land.
విద్యావంతుడైనటువంటి మూర్ఖుడు
This educated fool,
ఏమిటి తిండి లేక అల్లాడిపోతుంటుంటే ఈ మొరట మనిషి ఇన్ని ఒడ్లంతా కూడా బురదలో వేస్తున్నాడే అని వాడిని దూషిస్తాడు.
this educated fool starts commenting and criticizing this farmer when so many people are starving for want of food. He is wasting one bag of
కానీ
paddy by putting it in
ఈనాడు
the
ఒక్క మూట ఒడ్లు ఆ బురదలో వేయటం చేతనే 3 నెలల తర్వాత తాను 100 మూటలు బియ్య ఒడ్లు తెచ్చుకుంటున్నాడు ఇంటికి.
But he does not know that the farmer who puts one bag of paddy into the field today will get 100 bags of paddy after 3 months.
ఈనాడు
away
ఒక్క
from
మూట
crop.
ఒడ్లే దీంట్లో బురదలో పోయకపోతే రేపటి దినం 100 మూటలు ఎట్లా ఇంటికి వచ్చి చేరుతాయి?
If you do not put one bag of paddy today into this land, how are you going to get 100 bags of paddy.
అదే విధంగా
after 3
ఈనాడు
months.
మంత్ర స్వరూపమైనటువంటిది ఇంత అందరూ నెయ్యిని ఇంకా ద్రవ్యాలు సుగంధ ద్రవ్యాలు విలువైనటువంటి దాన్ని అంతా కూడా అగ్నిలో మనం అర్పితం గావించడం చేతనే దానికి అనంతమైనటువంటి ఫలితాలు మనకు లభిస్తుంటాయి.
The same way, by offering ghee and various types of materials into the sacrificial fire,
అర్పితం చేయటం మాత్రమే వీరు చూస్తున్నారు కానీ అందుకునేటువంటిది వాళ్ళకి తెలియటం లేదు.
you are seeing only what is being offered. You do not see what benefits will derive by such offering.
కనుకనే మనం ఈనాడు ఒక త్యాగము అనేటువంటి దాని కింద మనం అనుభవించినప్పుడే మనకు రేపటి దినము భోగము అనేటువంటి దాన్ని మనం అందుకోవడానికి అర్హులమవుతాం.
If today we are prepared to sacrifice, we are going to reap the fruits of such sacrifice in future.
పరిపూర్ణమైన హృదయంతో త్యాగం చేసినప్పుడే పరిపూర్ణమైనటువంటి భోగం అనేటువంటి యోగం మనకు లభ్యమవుతుంది.
Only when you sacrifice with a full heart, you are going to get all the benefits in all their fullness later in life.
దురదృష్టవశాత్తు ఈనాడు ప్రతి మానవునికి ఈ త్యాగం అనేటువంటిది కలలో కూడా రావటం లేదు.
But unfortunately today, no human being seems to get a thought
ఈ
of
త్యాగం
sacrifice
చేయటం
in a
కూడా ఒక
dream.
ఫ్యాషన్ గా రూపొందింది.
Even this kind of sacrifice has become a fashion for the modern man today.
త్యాగం అంటే ఏమిటో కూడా అర్థం కావటం లేదు వాళ్ళకు.
He does not know what sacrifice really means.
కనుకనే సర్వ సంపదలో ఉండి కూడాను సర్వ సౌకర్యములు ఉండి కూడాను
That is why, in spite of having so much of wealth with him,
శాంతి భద్రత లేకుండా చింతలో మునిగిపోతున్నాడు మానవుడు.
he is full of misery and unhappiness.
తెలిసి త్యాగం చేయటం లేదు.
He is not sacrificing with full awareness.
ఇంటికి వచ్చినటువంటి బిచ్చగానికి పట్టడు అన్నమైనా పెట్టి వాడిని సంతృప్తి పరచడం లేదు.
He is not prepared to give alms, a fistful of rice to a beggar who comes to his home begging.
కానీ మూటగట్టి బిచ్చగానికి కొంచెమైనా పెట్టకుండా
This man is accumulating wealth and filling the gunny bags.
వెంకటేశుని ఉండెలో వేయు లోహి.
He is prepared to take all this and go and put into
ఇంటికి
Lord
వచ్చినటువంటి
Venkateshwara.
బిచ్చగానికైనా కూడా ఒక మెతుకు పెట్టడు.
But he is not prepared to offer a morsel of food for a beggar who comes to his home.
ఇది దేవుడికి అని చెప్పి మూట కట్టి వేస్తాడు లోభి. వాడు పరమ లోభి.
But he is an extraordinarily great miser who takes this wealth and gives to some god like Lord
సర్వుడు యందు
Venkateshwara.
ఉండేటువంటి భగవంతుడు అనేటువంటి దాన్ని గుర్తించుకోలేకుండా
If you cannot recognize a living human being who is a living God,
సజీవమైనటువంటి ప్రాణముని హింసించి
if you hurt a living being,
నిర్జీవమైనటువంటి దానిని పోషించడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తున్నాడు మూర్ఖుడు.
and this fool stupidly is trying to satisfy
నిజముగా దేవుని
lifeless.
యొక్క శక్తి సామర్థ్యంలో గుర్తించినటువంటి వానికి నీ డబ్బు తనకెందుకు?
Really speaking, God who commands all wealth, why does he want your wealth?
కనుక నీ డబ్బునంతా కూడా నువ్వు దేశానికి సద్వినియోగం చేయాలి.
Use all your wealth for the good of the
దీనులకు
country.
దిక్కు లేనటువంటి వానికి తోడ్పరచాలి.
Give to people who need it, who do not have their wealth, who are poor.
हरि 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 स्मरण करो हरि 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 स्मरण करो हरि चरण कमल ध्यान करो हरि चरण कमल ध्यान करो हरि 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 स्मरण करो मुरली माधव सेव करो मुरली माधव सेवा करो मुरहरि गिरिधारी स्मरण करो मुरहर गिरिधारी स्मरण करो हरि 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 स्मरण करो जय हरि 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 स्मरण करो कमल जान करो, हरि चरण कमल जान करो, हरि 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 चरण करो, मुरली माधव सेव करो, मुरली माधव सेवा करो, मुरहर गिरिधार स्मरण करो, मुरहर गिरिधार स्मरण करो, हरि 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 स्मरण चरण कमल जान करो, हरि 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 शरण करो, हरि 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 स्मरण करो।
ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
Navaratri is the time during which we worship God in the form of the Universal Mother, the Mother of entire creation. She is the Adi Parashakti. Oh dearest, most loving Mother, how overjoyed we are to sit before you at the start of the Navaratri festivities. You have always been there for us, holding us by the hand and guiding us through the path of life. In our pleasant moments, you laugh and celebrate with us, and in our darkest ones, you lift us in your arms and carry us through the storms. You have assumed various forms to take care of us. Veda Mata, the supreme truth. Go Mata, Mother Cow, who is the embodiment of selflessness. Desha Mata, our motherland, the provider of refuge. Bhu Mata, Mother Earth, the nourisher and sustainer of life. Deha Mata, the mother who gave birth to us. We, the students of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Muddanahalli campus, present this musical rendition based on the 5 mothers at your lotus feet.
वेदमाता वैदिक साहित्यं भारतीय धार्मिक संस्कृतेः मूलाधारः अस्ति। तत्र अनेक आचार पद्धतिः वैदिक चिन्तनं च स्वाभाविकतया दिव्यत्वम् आनयति। दिव्यत्वे सर्वतत्त्वस्य अन्तर्भावयितुं सर्वदा प्रयतन्ते। तत्र सर्वेषु वैदिक सपण्डित्येषु उपनिषदः अथवा वेदान्तः सर्वेषां मूर्ध्नि तिष्ठन्ति। सकलवेदसाररूपिणी समस्तवेदशिरोमणि వాణి జననిజ కళ్యాణి వందే తవ చరణం సర్వమంత్ర స్వరూపిణి.
कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्. ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
గోమాత మన ప్రాచీన భారతీయ సంస్కృతి నందు గోవు మాతృతత్వానికి నిదర్శనంగా నిలిచింది. గోవు తన నిష్కల్మషమైన ప్రేమకై ముల్లోకాలలోనూ కామధేనువుగా ఆదరింపబడింది. పరోపకారార్థ వహంతి నంద్యాః పరోపకారార్థ దుహంతి గావః పరోపకారార్థ ఇదం శరీరం. గోమాత తన జీవితాన్ని పరుల సేవకై ఆహుతి ఇచ్చే త్యాగమూర్తి. మానవాళిని పాలించి పోషించి జీవితంలో ప్రోత్సహిస్తుంది గోవు. ద్వాపర యుగంలో శ్రీకృష్ణుని లీలాభూమి అయిన బృందావనందు గోవులు శ్రీకృష్ణుని సహచరులుగా సంచరించినవి. సకల దేవతలకు నివాసమైన గోమాతకు ఇదే మా వందనం, ఇదే మా వందనం, ఇదే మా వందనం.
వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా. వినరా వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా. గోమాతను నేనేరా నాతో సరిపోలవురా. గోమాతను నేనేరా నాతో సరిపోలవురా. వినరా వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా. కల్లా కపటం ఎరుగని గంగి గోవును నేను. ఏది చెప్పినా కాదని ఎదురు చెప్పలేను. నాదుడని కాదని మీ కడుపులు నింపుతాను నాదుడని కాదని మీ కడుపులు నింపుతాను పరుల సేవకే సర్వం త్యాగం చేస్తున్నాను పరుల సేవకే సర్వం త్యాగం చేస్తున్నాను వినరా వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా వినరా వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా వినరా వినరా నరుడా తెలుసుకోర మానవుడా
नमो भारतांबे जिन्होंने विश्व प्रसिद्ध महापुरुषों को जन्म दिया जहाँ पर ईश्वर के भिन्न भिन्न रूपों को पूजा जाता है। एक ओर हिंद महासागर जिनके चरणों की पूजा करते हैं और दूसरी ओर स्वयं हिमालय पर्वत सर का ताज हैं। धन्य है हम जो हमको इस पवित्र भूमि पर जन्म मिला। हे भारत माता स्वीकार करो हमारी ये छोटी सी भेंट ये गीत जिसके बोल हैं नमो नमो भारतांबे।
नमो 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 भारतांबे नमो 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 भारतांबे सारस्वत शरीरिणे नमोस्तु जगतां वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्या प्रकाशिनी गंगाद्या सरित सर्वस्तन्यं ते विश्वपावनि नमो 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 भारतांबे नमो नमो भारतांबे नमो 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 तगृदीं तदीं 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 तन तगृदीं तदीं 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 तगृदीं तदीं 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 तन तगृदीं तदीं 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 गमबनीनी गमबनीनी गपमप गम सगनि ग सगनि सपनि पसनि पा पसनि पनि पम पसनि पनि पम पमग नमो नमो भारतांबे बदरी षण्डमण्डिते कुर्वन्ति लोकांस्ते तीर्थभूतमुनीश्वरा
नमो भारतांबे विन्ध्यतुङ्गस्तनायिते
समुद्रवसने देवी सह्यमाला विराजिते नमो 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 भारतांबे नमो नमो भारतांबे नमो 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 ऋषिन्दति सेविते
नमो भारतांबे सर्वविद्याविलासिनी
गौडमैथिलकाम्बिल्या द्रविडादिशरीरिणी
namo, namo namo, namo namo, Bharatambe, namo namo, Bharatambe, namo namo, namo namo.
सर्वतीर्थस्वरूपिणी काशा हि काशसे माता त्वं हि सर्वप्रकाशिका
नमो नमो भारताम्बे गुरुस्त्वं जगदाम्बरा
वेद वेदान्त गम्भीरे निर्वाण सुखदायिनी नमो 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 भारताम्बे नमो नमो भारताम्बे यतिलोकपदन्यास पवित्रीकृतपांसवे
नमोऽस्तु जगदाम्बधात्री
मोक्षमार्गैक सेतवे नमो भारताम्बे नमो नमो
Dearest Lord, from the very moment of our existence, we have always been nurtured by nature. We were always provided with all that we need and all that we greed. And so lost were we, scrimmaging after trinkets, that we lost sight of our real treasure. You gifted us with a mother, and we left her bereft with our plunder. But repentance we seek, for we now realize that we too are of nature. This song is dedicated to this mother and her cry to all of us to rally our hearts, to heal our hurt. Mother Earth, this one's for you.
In a land of beauty, where life fostered in splendor, I would rise where the birds singing. A good morning call for a bright start. I walked a few steps, I saw my mama crying. Oh, Mother Earth, she's crying. Oh, Mother Earth, she needs healing.
Careless we are to the crying earth. Witness we are to the dying. Careless we are to the crying earth. Witness we are to the dying earth.
Danger's coming.
No place to hide.
We know no mountains freezing.
the water sets to rise. We know that danger's coming, no place to hide. We know no mountains freezing, water set to rise. Seasons come and go, they're in their own flow. Of the many colors you show, tell me all that you know. Seasons come and go, and their own flow. Of the many colors you show, tell me all that you know. Selfish we are, and that's in nature. Don't we understand we share a common future? Selfish we are, and that's a nature. Don't we realize we're one with different colors?
Yet we wait for apocalypse and ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know.
Yeah, we wait for apocalypse and the ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know. Yeah, we wait for apocalypse and the ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know. Yeah, we wait for apocalypse and the ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know. Yeah, we wait for apocalypse and the ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know. Yeah, we wait for apocalypse and the ashes to fall. See the rage and the fire, and we already know.
Dear Lord, when we were born, we searched for you, and when we couldn't find you, we cried out for you. Then you caressed us with your touch, took us close to your heart, and fed us with your love, the love that is divine and beautiful. For our ignorant eyes, you showed your omnipresence as Deha Mata. O Mother, we pray to you that from this materialistic world, take us back to your lap of divinity, because there is none to whom we can surrender except you. Niye Gati Ishwari, Niye Gati Ishwari.
नीये गति ईश्वरी, नीये गति ईश्वरी, शिव का में दया सागरी, शिव का में दया सागरी, एनक नीये गति ईश्वरी. ஆவியே அமுதே ஆகம பொருளே ஆவியே அமுதே ஆகம பொருளே அன்னையே தாராயோ உன் திருவருளே அன்னையே தாராயோ உன் திருவருளே ஆவதும் அழிவதும் யாவும் உன்னாலே ஆவதும் அழிவதும் யாவும் உன்னாலே என்னை பாராயோ என்னை உன் கண்ணாலே என்னை பாராயோ என்னை உன் கண்ணாலே தீயவர் வாழவும் நல்லவர் தாழவும் தீயவர் வாழவும் நல்லவர் தாழவும் செய்வதேனோ இது தர்மம் தானோ செய்வதேனோ இது தர்மம் தானோ அம்பனியே கதி ஈஸ்வரி சிவகாமே தயா சாகரி எனக்கு நீயே கதி ஈஸ்வரி शिवकामे दया सागरे शिवकामे दया सागरे शिवकामे दया सागरे எனக்கு நீயே கதி ஈஸ்வரி
Long ago, the universe was a paradise. Everything was peaceful. Everything was perfect, just like it was supposed to be. And it was meant to last forever. but nothing lasts forever. Dark clouds filled the sky, and the surface trembled in fear as the demon Mahishasura took upon himself to raise the universe into ashes. The gods, terrified by what was happening, rushed to Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara to seek protection. The Trinity infused their divine powers and blended the earth, sun, air, sky and fire to invoke Goddess Durga. Mahishasura was oblivious of his destiny. A fierce battle was fought, good versus evil, that shook the heavens and the earth. The sun shone on the universe once again as Goddess Durga victored over Mahishasura and destroyed the demons of sorrow, fear, penury, disease and death to restore peace and tranquility once again.
Shiro
शतकण्डविखण्डितरुण्डवितुण्डितशुण्डगजाधिपते रिपुगजगन्धविदारण चण्डपराक्रमशुण्डमृगाधिपते निजभुजदण्डनिपातितकण्ड विपातितमुण्डभटाधिपते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते मल्लिकमल्लिकरल्लकमल्लरते विरचितमल्लिकमल्लिकमल्लिकभिल्लिकभिल्लिकभर्गवते सितकृतपुल्लिसमुल्लसितारणकल्लजपल्लवसल्ललिते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते कमलदलामल कोमल कांति कला कलितामल भाललते सकल विलास कला निलया क्रमकेलि चलाकल हंसकुले अलकुल संकुल कुवलय मंडल मौलि मिलत मकुलालिकुले जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते कमलं करुणानिले परिवस्यते योनुदिनं सशिवे अयि कमले कमलानिले कमलानिले सकलं न भवेत् तव पदमेव परं पदमित्यनुशीलयतो मम किं न शिवे जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते तव विमलेन्दुकुलं वदनेन्दुमला सकलं ननुकूलयते किम पुरुहोतपुरीन्द्रमुखी सुमुखी विरसो विमुखी क्रियते मम दुमतं शिवनामधने भवति कृपया विनुता क्रियते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते ऐगिरि नन्दिनि नन्दितमेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दनुते गिरिवरविन्द शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि विष्णुनुते भगवति हे चितिकण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते लंबोदरा जय गजानना लंबोदरा जय गजानना पार्वती नंदन परम दया घना पार्वती नंदन परम दया घना लंबोदरा जय गजानना बंध विमोचना भव भय भंजना विमोचना भव भय भंजना प्रणव स्वरूपा हे शिवनंदना प्रणव स्वरूपा हे शिवनंदना पाहि प्रभो गजानना पाहि प्रभो मा पाहि गजानना लंबोदरा जय गजानना नंदना परम दयाघना लंबोदरा जय गजानना बंध विमोचना भव भय भंजना प्रणव स्वरूपा हे शिवनंदना पाहि प्रभो मा पाहि गजानना पाहि प्रभो मा पाहि गजानना लंबोदरा जय गजानना महिषासुरमर्दिनी ममताप विमोचनी महिषासुरमर्दिनी ममताप विमोचनी माधवा सोदरी मंगलाकारिणी मंगलाकारिणी माधवा सोदरी मंगलाकारिणी मंगलाकारिणी महिषासुरमर्दिनी ममताप विमोचनी पुट्टपर्तीश्वरी सत्य साईश्वरी पुट्टपर्तीश्वरी सत्य साईश्वरी संगीत रूपिणी सरस्वती मनोहरी संगीत रूपिणी सरस्वती मनोहरी महिषासुरमर्दिनी ममताप विमोचनी माधवा सोदरी मंगलाकारिणी महिषासुरमर्दिनी ममताप विमोचनी पुट्टपर्तीश्वरी सत्य साईश्वरी संगीत रूपिणी सरस्वती मनोहरी संगीत रूपिणी सरस्वती मनोहरी महिषासुर
मर्दिनी ममतापविमोचनी
साई बाबा प्रणाम साई बाबा प्रणाम शिरडी बाबा प्रणाम शिरडी बाबा प्रणाम ओ मेरे आत्मा राम ओ मेरे आत्मा राम ले लो मेरे प्रणाम बाबा ले लो मेरे प्रणाम ईश्वर अल्लाह राम ईश्वर अल्लाह राम सबको प्रभु साई राम सबके प्रभु साई राम पूर्ण करो मेरे पूर्ण करो मेरे परम शांति प्रिय राम हे परम शांति प्रिय राम साई बाबा प्रणाम शिरडी बाबा प्रणाम ओ मेरे आत्मा राम ले लो मेरे प्रणाम ईश्वर अल्लाह राम सबके प्रभु साई राम पूर्ण करो मेरे हे परम शांति प्रिय राम हे परम शांति प्रिय राम साई बाबा प्रणाम
गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा
देवा शरणं देवा
गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा
देवा शरणं देवा
पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा
पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा
पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा
प्रभो शरणं देवा
गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा
देवा शरणं देवा
सुंदर रूपा श्री साई देवा
रूपा श्री साई देवा
सुंदर रूपा श्री साई देवा
रूपा श्री साई देवा
शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा
शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा
शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा
शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा
गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा
शरणं देवा
पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा
प्रभो शरणं देवा
गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा सुंदर रूपा श्री साई देवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा शरणं शरणं सद्गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा शरणं देवा जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदैवमो मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्राशयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ओ साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंदुको मंगल आरती अंदुको अंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking Bhagwan's divine blessings. Tomorrow is the second day of the Veda Purusha Saptah Jnana Yagnam. The Purna Chandra Auditorium will open for entry at 7 o'clock. At around 9:45, there will be Mangalarti in Purnachandra Auditorium, after which the devotees can proceed to Sai Kulwanthal to receive Bhagwan's Divya Darshan, which will conclude with Maha Mangalarti. Those who wish to witness the further proceedings of the Yagnam in Purnachandra Hall can remain seated. Tomorrow being Sunday, the evening session in Sai Kulwanthal will commence at 4 o'clock with Bhagwan's Divya Darshan, followed by Vedam chanting at 4:30. The second day's proceedings of Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha will commence at 4:40 with the invocatory Vedam by the students of Sri Sathya Sai Higher Secondary School, Prashanti Nilayam, followed by a talk by a faculty member from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Brindavan campus. After the talk, there will be a brief narrative on the inner significance of few selected ceremonies during the Yagnam. Will then be blessed with Bhagwan's divine discourse, which will be followed by a music program by the students from Brindavan campus. The evening session in Sai Kulwanthal will conclude with bhajans and Mangalarti, followed by Bhagwan's Divya Darshan. Jai Sai Ram.
ఓం శ్రీ సాయిరామ్. స్వామివారి దివ్యానుగ్రహ ఆశీస్సులతో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో జరుగుచున్న వేదపురుష సప్తాహ జ్ఞానయజ్ఞంలో రేపటి రెండవ రోజున పూర్ణచంద్ర సభా మండపం భక్తుల ప్రవేశార్థమై ఉదయం 7 గంటలకు తెరవబడును. పూర్ణచంద్ర సభా మండపంలో సుమారు 9:45 మంగళహారతి అనంతరం భక్తులు సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం గావించుకోవచ్చు. మహామంగళహారతితో స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం ముగియను. పూర్ణచంద్ర సభా మండపంలో యజ్ఞాన్ని వీక్షించదలిచిన భక్తులు సభా మండపంలో ఆసీనులే ఉండవచ్చు. సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో రేపటి ఆదివార సాయంకాల కార్యక్రమం 4 గంటలకు స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనంతో ప్రారంభమై 4:30 వేద పఠనంతో కొనసాగుతుంది. 4:40 ప్రశాంతి విద్వాన్ మహాసభ రెండవ రోజు కార్యక్రమం ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలోని శ్రీ సత్యసాయి హైయర్ సెకండరీ స్కూల్కి చెందిన విద్యార్థులచే వేదోచ్చారణతో ప్రారంభమై శ్రీ సత్యసాయి ఉన్నత విద్యాసంస్థ బృందావన్ క్యాంపస్ చెందిన ఒక అధ్యాపకునిచే ప్రసంగంతో కొనసాగుతుంది. వీరి ప్రసంగానంతరం వేదపురుష సప్తాహ జ్ఞానయజ్ఞంలో భాగంగా నిర్వహింపబడే కొన్ని ఆచార క్రియలు మరియు వాటి అంతరార్థములు వివరించబడతాయి. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య సందేశం. తదుపరి బృందావన్ క్యాంపస్ చెందిన విద్యార్థులు ఒక సంగీత కార్యక్రమాన్ని సమర్పిస్తారు. సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో రేపటి సాయంకాల కార్యక్రమం భజనతో కొనసాగి మంగళహారతితో ముగియను. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. జై సాయిరామ్.
ఓం